I figured that it's been a while. Sorry, my internet just fell over there. That there's been any talk on LARP or things like that, so I figured, why not? I've been doing Twitch now for a week, so why not jump straight in and do something as ridiculously large as this? I play the Profound Decisions LARP called Empire, which I'm hoping people will come in and start looking at and maybe typing questions or even just saying hello. I've been playing it since the beginning, so it's nearly 6 years now, I think. But my reason for doing this is that we are getting such a massive influx of players now. I figured that this might be a good opportunity for them to come into something like this, which is a different medium for them, so that they can chat, ask questions, talk bollocks, and we can go from there. So it might work, it might not work. Who knows at the moment? So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I've gone for a little bit of a Valorn-esque type background for this video, just to see what things are like there and stuff like that. And if that will work, if this looks good, then I might turn this into another thing. I'll potentially come along and do something like this on a. It could be fun. I could do it after an actual event, so I could come back. You can see me in all my wonderful face, because I don't tend to take most of it off after the event, so I'll still be in a fair amount of my kit. I'll be exhausted and all of that sort of stuff, and then I proceed that evening just to chill out. I put a film on and I have a few more drinks, and then I just unwind, because it's the best way to do it, I found. I was going to have a big list of things to talk about and that, but instead of doing something like that, I figured that I'll do what I do best, which is just talk bollocks for a while. And if people have questions or anything like that, then they can type it into chat, or if people have anything that they want to say, oh, this was amazing, this is amazing, then they can type that into chat as well, and we can go on from there. So start off with, when I first came along to play Empire, those many years ago, I wanted to play a character who was just going to sit on the outskirts of the game and just sit there and watch and just play and take it on board and not act as an advisor. Nope, didn't happen. Because what I think 99% of the people will say is that as they played the game, they came up with a concept, something that they wanted to do or something that they didn't want to do, and then the more that they played, the more that they get involved in those sorts of things. So my current character, Mac, is a throwaway character, or was a throwaway character at the time after my last character's death. Execution. I just wanted to play something so I could come in, have a laugh, and just do whatever with, and just go on from there. It didn't add up to being anything else to start off with. I got a little bit bored, and then after fighting a few times, it picked up for me, and it picked up for me in a big way, and there's a fair few people who helped me enjoy the game again, and it was great. So I think the best place to start is, what do you need to get started? So obviously PD have a brief. they have this thing that they have put out. They have a wiki that they've put up so that everybody has an idea of what they want to do, what they want to look at, the different areas of the game. And the game is vast. The game is very, very large. So you want to do magic, you can go off and do magic, but magic in itself is split. It has different areas of it. So there's ritual, there's battle mage, there's healer, there's things like that. Then there's politics, which I've avoided at all cost, like the plague, because I just can't get my head around that. It's for me, I don't enjoy that side of it, but I've always been on the periphery of it, because my area of the game is I like to play the military game. So as I said, it's a huge area. So you can do whatever you want to do in this game to an extent, which is fantastic. But I digress. You'll get this from me a lot. I'll start talking about one thing and then I will meander off and talk about something completely different. But yeah, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. So I will start off with what you need. So you read the wiki, you've picked your nation, you've decided what you want to do. You now have a look at all of these incredible pictures out there that the photographers do. So Tom Garner, Oliver Facey, Beth Dooner, Lisa Curtis. There's loads out there, and the ones I've forgotten, I'm very sorry. So you go and you have a look at the photos that they've taken, and then you pick something that appeals. So with the Navarre, it's like layers and stuff like that. With Wintermark, they are split into 3 areas: Calavesi, Steiner, and Suak. So they all have different things that you can draw upon. And so they all have never enough horns. Yeah, I'll get to that. So they all have different areas that you can pick up on, which appeals to you. So there's a line that you follow, but there is so much drawn from it all that you can add your own spin to it all. So I was having a chat with someone in the last event 1 of this year, when my character moved from the Navarre to Wintermark. So, and John Haynes, who is one of our egregores, who is the spirit of the nation. They are the person that essentially they're a member of crew. And you can go to them and they help you, and it's fantastic, and it's great to see. And John put me on the spot. He asked me a couple of questions and he sent me off. I've been trying to play out joining Wintermark for like 2 or 3 events, and then all of a sudden, when it came to doing it, not happening. It wasn't happening at all. So I had to go back, and I sat down with Mac's closest friend in character, Grim, and I was asking him questions about what it was to be a Calavesi and all of these sorts of things. For anyone who has played the game and knows Grim, they know that was the dumbest thing in the world to do. And it was hilarious. It was so good. But so I had to go off and do that. But anyway, long story short, I became Calavesi and stuff. So, but the things that I picked from it all were, instead of going, they say, oh, you're Crow, you're Mystic, you're all of this, and this, and there's this line, and you go down that. I have gone, nope, there's other bits to it over here somewhere. And then I'm going off and doing all of these sorts of things. What was your first impressions of LARP? My first time I did LARP was a decade ago. And that was with some friends down Portsmouth, Southampton sort of way, playing a game called Vampire the Masquerade, and they're all a bunch of weirdos. they are still all a bunch of weirdos. It's fine. So I've got all of that going on, but anyway, I'll get back to Empire for a little bit. So when you turn up, when you've made your character, you've got your kit and you've done it. The thing is that your kit is what you can do. So if the best piece of kit that you can make is that you have altered a bit, you've put rags on and stuff like that, and you have altered it, but you look relatively in character, but that is the best that your money can do for you, and that is the best your talent can do, then you're fine. That's all you need. There are so many people out in that field who can help you, and there are so many fantastic groups online who can give you advice. I'm crap at when it comes to making kit and doing things like that. I've not got a clue. So I go to people. I've asked for help. I've asked for advice. Mark Humes gave me some advice on where to take my character as well, which was great. It was something that it didn't really occur. But he helped me out there, and it was very, very fun. And I'm going with it, and it's fantastic. So, but once you've got all of that done, the next thing that you need is socks. Every LARPer out there will change their socks 2-3 times a day. Well, if it's wet anyway, mainly because you need to keep your feet dry. You need to keep yourself dry. It's a comfort thing. It's about keeping layers, the distance on the floor, so that you've got places so you're warm and you're comfortable at night as well. If you're going to camp in character, canvas tents, bell tents, A-frame tents, things like that, they help out massively. If you're going to camp out of character, a tent works, something like that. The Polish bashers are good for in character as well. I've seen a fair few of those going around. A guy Will in my old group, he sleeps one, and he's like 6'2", and he sleeps with one. He curls around it. It's quite a sight, to be honest. So you've done that. You've got your tent set up. You're sat in a field. Everyone else is wandering around you, and they're talking to each other, because it seems like everyone knows each other, and they're doing all of this. They're talking about all these weird things that you've only read about on a wiki, and that. The strange thing is that the best thing that I could ever suggest is to go and get involved. Walk up to these people and go, "Hi, I'm new. I don't know what I'm doing. Can you give me a bit of advice?" Because I guarantee you that 99.9% of these people will think, bit of fresh meat, someone I can talk to, and someone I can get to do stuff and get involved, and hopefully have someone to come and work with me. Those sorts of things. I love to get people involved in what I'm doing, because the plot in this game is big. It's really, really big, and more often than not, you can't do it on your own. You need other people around you. So with my old character, when I was a general, I had 3 other people who worked with me. One of them might call in a little bit, Kit. He played... do you think it is a big deal for LARP, or more how you act? I'll get to that one in a second. So it's a lot of it is down to how you get involved in this plot. So sorry, yeah, as I was saying. So I had Kit, who might call in a second, and he'll be on this as well, and he'll just chat away to people. And then there was Rich Andrews as well, and Owen, and we had, the 4 of us, a fantastic unit. And any plot that came along, skirmishes, magical bits and things like that to do, we all had a bit of involvement. And then everyone went off because they knew other people would get involved, so they would go shh, 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 shh. Everyone ran off to do things, and the plot was shared out between 30 odd people, and then it became a national thing because you have in the Navarre you have standings, and in Wintermark you have moots. So everyone was running off to do all of these different things and then getting everyone involved. There's been a lot of talk at the moment of people hogging plot and stuff like that. I've never experienced that, unless it's the magical side of the game or politics, because it bores me and I have no interest in it. So yeah, so you get involved in plot just by going up and talking to people. If there's not the plot that PD are throwing out there, then there's personal plot going on. My old character got married, and her striding set challenges for my character to do. A lot of it involved orcs, and it was good. It gave me things to do, and it gave them challenges to think up, and it was some of the best game I've ever had. So it's all there. So if you turn up and you're just like, oh, I don't know, or anything like that, ask. And I know there's quite a lot of people out there who suffer from anxiety and things like that. There are safe spaces. The Navarre forest at night is lit massively, has a fire, has everything around it, and it is incredible to see. If you are struggling and you can't be around people, things like that, you've got the hub, you've got God, and there are other places that you can go, like bars, things like that. I know that there are people there, but I have witnessed on a few occasions people going up to them and saying, I'm really struggling with anxiety at the moment, can you help? And they go, yeah, sure, here's a chair, come and sit behind the bar, sit there, and just, and until you're ready, and you're fine. Everyone helps. The LARP community is so supportive. I've never experienced anything like it. There was a while ago, before E2 or E3 I think it was, I nearly quit the game in its entirety because of my anxiety telling me that nobody liked me, nobody wanted me around, I was shit at the game, I couldn't do anything at all. And the outpouring from everybody saying no, and the love essentially was fantastic. So the LARP community is so supportive, and they're always there. You get dicks in every single way of life, so there are dicks at LARP, but thankfully they are few and far between, and when you do come across one, you can tell them to jog on, or people who witness the dickery can tell them to jog on, and then PD will tell them to jog on. So there's a lot of support. Anyway, I digress again, as normal. So do you think kit is a big deal for LARP, or more how you act? That is a tough one. I think, this is my personal opinion, I think that what you wear helps, but if you have got someone there who's saying, I'm a huge warrior, I never cower away from anything, I will always stand up for the weak and all of this sort of stuff, they could have the greatest kit in the world and look amazing, but if a new player is next to them getting shouted at for no apparent reason or anything like that, and they just stand there, then in my eyes, bit of a weak role player there. Your character says you stick up for these people, but you're not doing it. A lot of times as well, you'll get people who will make characters the polar opposite of who they are. So if your character isn't shouty, sweary, confrontational, but you are as a person, then that's a challenge for you to do. If you're not shouty, sweary, confrontational, but you make this big monster of a person to go in and shout at everyone and be as confrontational as you can, get involved in every single fight going, then more power to you. If you can pull that off, then fantastic. I see a lot of things of people saying that they're going into big meetings, that they're doing all of these things in the real world. So this is character bleed. This was something when a few of us were talking at Comic-Con, we were asked a couple of questions about character bleed, and character bleed for me is something. Grimnir Breck, hello, thanks for following, mate. If you're going into a meeting, I've seen people. There's a girl that someone that I know, and they channel their role character when they go into meetings, because their character they were strong, they were powerful, they were shouty, and they go into these meetings and they have a great time, and they lead the meetings and they do really, really well, and then they can come out of it and think, oh, I did well there. You get character bleed as well when you're like, if your character is killed, dies off, and that you get upset by it. Everybody wants this huge moment where they can go, my character was killed fighting 200 orcs. I killed 100 of them, and then I was dead, and then I was given the heroes. I was carried through the streets of Anvil, and it was amazing. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Character deaths, it's the very, very few happen where it's amazing. I was lucky to have an amazing one. I charged a shield wall on my own because I was executed, essentially. I was told not to come back from a fight, so I got to charge a shield wall on my own, and from everybody watching it looked great because I charged the shield wall, I hit the shield wall, they wrapped around me, and then they grabbed me and they launched me back through, and I got to go and witness my funeral. That was fantastic. With that, I know of people who have been on a skirmish before. They got knocked down, and instead of people going, yeah, let's help them, everyone's gone, nope, and walked away. And so instead of the amazing death, that character was left, there was like a 4-year-old character was left there to die on the floor, and then instead of coming out, so we had a funeral, had to go round the back, make a new character so that they could just come and join the field again. You get out of it what you put into it. So that was really, really sad. But now you get people who, when they're terminal, they're able to be picked up so they can leave the field, they can say their goodbyes, and then they go off and they die casually, which is weird. But it's one of those amazing things that you can do at LARP. A friend of mine, Steve Cook, his character Algar. Yeah, that was a sad one. His character died, and we had his funeral, and I couldn't handle it. I did my little bits that I could, and then I had to leave. I couldn't handle it at all, and everyone was really upset by it. So, but still, that is what you get. How did you deal when Breck and Chella died? I was a mess. So when I'm at Empire, I've got Mac, and you've got Mac and Grim. If you've watched Mark Hume's things, you know who Grim is, and you might know who Mac is. So you've got Mac and Grim. They are dicks. They run off and they do everything together. And then there was they had two friends who they were very, very close with. You had Breck and you had Chella, and we used to go off together. We used to fight together. We used to get shouted at by them both together, and we used to go off. And then it was sad. Then one event they turned up and their family came to us. And they came up to the fire and they were like, Breck and Chella have gone missing. Grim was like, they're fine. They'll turn up at some point. Mac was more, well, we probably should find them. So he was asked a few questions and then came back, and then more of their family they came up and were just like, well, we still can't find them, and they went, so it was all off. And then they came walking back along the path. I can still remember it. They were walking back along the path, and Grim says, "There they are." And it was like, okay, they're fine. It's like, they don't look great. And then one of their family came walking over and just went, "They're dead." And Mac is a bit of a psychopath in game. You don't, yeah. He's killed a lot of people, and so he made sure he was unarmed, and he went off. And then I heard Grim say to them, "How should we stop him or anything like that?" And he was like, "No, if you get in his way, he will just kill you." But their death was something, to be honest, that it upset me in character. But then I didn't think it would affect me too badly. But when it was out of character, it was that evening when I got home and I was watching some of the Game of Thrones, and it was what's the song called? Is it Jenny of Oldstone? I think that came on. Oh, I was a mess. I actually cried because they died. I was actually really upset in the end. I've only ever done that over one other character in the entire game, and that was my friend Kit, his character Dane, because that's Mac's brother. That was the only other time. So how did I deal? In game, a lot of alcohol. Out of game, wrote a little short story, bit of closure. In game, still dealing. We still return. There's Fren and Fam who wander around, and we still talk about these two people who have turned up, who look very much like Breck and Chella. So, yeah, we're still finding our feet with them. So, yeah. So I Helen, I hope that's enough ego stroking. But I still miss them both. There's no more drinking until 4 o'clock in the morning anymore. Now they've gone, and I don't like it. It's sad not being able to watch the sunrise. Oh, it's you. Yes, I have 2 feisty changelings to deal with now. In all fairness, and that last event, one of my highlights was having... Now, I always get their names mixed up. Fam? No, Fren, isn't it? Helen, you're Fren, aren't you? While Mac and Grim were off on their Twilight binge, for those of you who don't know, Twilight is a drug. It's an in-character narcotic. It is a euphoric high. It's meant to last... It's meant to last for half an hour. Mac and Grim can stretch that one out for 2 hours, easily. And we have done on multiple occasions. We got a little bit carried away. I nearly broke a mask, and I still feel guilty about it. But it was, Twilight was a lot of fun. And Fren, while trying to look after Mac and Grim, followed us around. We went into Dawn, and there was a group of lads coming out of Dawn who saw us, thought we were possessed, wanted to do an exorcism, then tried to get us arrested, then wanted to execute us as heretics, then were just going to kill us. And if Fren wasn't there with us, I'm pretty sure that Mac and Grim would have both been killed. Mac would have been killed. Grim is a lot faster than me. Yeah, Chris is a Chris is a lot faster runner than I am. So, yeah, but that was absolutely hilarious, and I got bit. I got bit. She actually bit me, as well. So funny, so funny. There's yeah, really really good. But we need to get that stuff sorted and back on again. So, right, let's skip back to. So, you did. Yeah, you warned both of us. Did you bite? You bit Chris as well, didn't you? I'm pretty sure of it. But I think you bit him a lot harder than you bit me. Oh my god! So, if Fan was there, then, yeah, she would have taken chunks out of us. So, let's go all the way back to where I was. So, you turn up at site, you've got all of this stuff, you've spoken to a couple of people and all of that, and then time in happens. That is always a weird one for me, because I never know what to do until something happens. A lot of people will wander off and just go, I'm going to go off over there, and they'll have a walk around the field. That's a great thing to do. You see all of the other nations. You see Dawn. No one likes Dawn. You see High Guard. No one likes High Guard. You see the marches. I like the marches. So you got Varushka. Varushka are awesome. Their camp is absolutely fantastic to see when you get into it. It's quite close. Oh. Yeah. So their camp is very very close, and they have it's like old Russian sort of memorabilia and things like that, but they've set it all up so they've put the spin on it for Varushka, and they're incredible. They are such a good. Everyone in Varushka is fantastic. It's some of the best experiences I've had. You've got in-character bars as well. So I can feel myself just like getting distracted now by other things. So I'm talking about bars now. So you get in-character money in-game. I've got some of it somewhere. It's not my money. It's not my money, unfortunately. So you get in-character. Everyone will have, if you don't have a business or a farm or something, you'll have 18 rings. And if you have a business or a farm, then you'll have more. You can spend this money on. It's worth hiding all the money for the amount of children at Empire, because the children are so rich. You've got Wee Tom in the Navarre. I'm pretty certain he's got a 50 thrown piece on him. The temptation to mug him, or just hold him upside down and just shake him a bit, is unreal sometimes. But the kids are a force to be reckoned with at Empire. You can't say no, and if you do, they do that puppy dog eye, puss and boot eye thing at you, and then you still have to say no. But you get all of this money, and then you get people coming around with selling you trinkets and things like that. I bought necklaces off of it. I bought a bracelet for Rochar, who is not going to tell you what she is to Mac, but yeah, I bought that for Rochar. Lisa. She does fantastic photography around Wintermark. So you've got those sorts of things that you can buy and you give them to people in character. Then you get people who have spent a lot of time making cakes and alcohol and things like that. I'll get to the alcohol in a little bit because a little disclaimer is needed. So there are cakes and stuff like that. People make gluten-free things, and they try to deal with a lot of the allergies and stuff like that. I don't really know a great deal about it because obviously, look at me, I fucking eat everything. So they have low sort of thing, and they come around and they put a lot of time and effort into it. You had was it Grim and Ulf's something or other, and Alex made loads of dried meat, whatever it's called, I've forgotten, and it was really, really tasty, and it was so good, and they sold a lot of stuff, but I think it's a lot of effort to do, so you have to be very, very committed to do those sorts of things. There are some fantastic artists out there as well. You've got a friend of mine, Susan Cook. She is incredible, absolutely incredible. I think if I do another one of these, I'll put on I'll bring some of the pictures, and I'll display them on the screen wherever it is. Yeah, so I'll do that. You've got Antonia Forrester as well. Jerky, thank you. Jerky, really nice. There is a little bit of delay between what I'm saying and what pops up on screen for me. So yeah, Jerky. Yeah, you got Antonia as well. She's fantastic. You've got Annabelle Mudge as well. She'll tell you she's not talented, but she is very, very good. Aww. Hello, darling. So, yeah, you get a lot of people who do all of these sorts of things, and they're incredibly talented at what they do. Susan actually did a nice picture of me and Trot and the party potato. I can't not talk about the party potato. They did us for a picture of the three of us lying in a field of glory. It was wonderful. Yeah, so that was that's fantastic. There's a lot of talented people out there. So if you're good at stuff like that, then that's something else that you can bring into the game as well. Fighting obviously is a huge thing. There's a lot of effort goes into the battles. So you've got the war rhinos, you've got everyone will dress up in an orc mask. They'll run around with whatever weaponry they've got, and they will do anything they can to pack the shit out of you, basically. Orcs come up with their own little stories. I know Mark Hume's, Trot Smith, they talked about the Borts in one of their videos. I fell victim to Old Bort at one point, and he tried to sell me. That was great fun, but everybody comes up with their own little stories, and it's really, really interesting to do. The battles are great fun. You get the emotional plot, so like people around you get really badly hurt and things, and then you're picking them up, and you're like, come on, stay with me, we could do this, and they're like lying on the floor going, no, fuck off, I'm tired, leave me alone, I want to have a sleep. And that's really good. And then you get the bits where you're fighting in a line, and then you're watching a massive unit come walking around, and you go, well, we're about to get flanked, this is going to end really badly for us. And it does, because you get smashed on those sides, you're fucked. And they roll over, and then you're relying on other people to come and push back, and it is such a good laugh. You get the dishwasher effect going on, where everyone is in the meat grind, everyone's in the middle having a scrap, and it's really, really good. You get the odd person who has obviously been experienced in doing things before because they're generally the loudest, they know what's going on, and they're able to maneuver people or units into specific areas. Then you get people who are new and just full of keen, and then you've got a shield wall, and then you've got them running face first into it on their own, and then you have to drag a load of people to go and pick them up again. And it's so good. You feel like an epic hero doing all of these things. So you running into a line, you're taking out orcs left, right, and centre, and you're doing things, and they're dying at your feet, and you're stepping over all these bodies. You come out of that fight going, fucking epic, really fucking epic. Or you get shot in the face by an arrow from 10 feet away and your event's over. You're not meant to do that. There's safety aspects and everything. So I'm aware that I took that from something up here straight the way down to here. But it's just one of those things. A safety aspect comes into everything. And I've been shot in the face by arrows. Pod shots. Oh, yeah. Oh, I ache just thinking about it. You get a hit in the pods. Yeah, never fun. But running around these fields, these woods, fighting these massive monsters that PD have made, like the war rhinos stand 10 feet tall. They've got 8 people inside them. They've got a rider with a 12-foot spear just stabbing you, and you get things like that. You got Mr. Pinchies, which are these giant lobster things, and you like that, lobsters, and they do all of this stuff, and you come out of it going, well, I've been put through the grinder there. You walk back. You've got I forget, traumatic wounds. If you do something really cool, or something really cool happens to you, by cool I mean 20 orcs will run over you, they'll beat the crap out of you, you get yourself up, a ref will come over to you and go, this is for you, and it's a little laminated card. You read the back of it, and if it says this takes effect now, then you're on the floor. Something happens now and you need to get fixed. Or you're off somewhere else. You leave, you walk back through, and then that's when the card takes effect, and then you bang on the floor. Then you get the hospital, which is there, which has about 30, 50 people in there. They come purely to do the hospital medical game, because traumatic wound roleplay is truly epic. It is so good. So I had 2 traumatic wounds out of my last battle. Dislocated hip, which they had to put in, so there's like people holding you down and going, oh, they're putting it all back in, they go, and they get it all done, and you're screaming, fighting them off, and everything, and it's really cool. And then I had a fractured skull as well, and that took. I had 2 people like stood over me, pinning me down and stuff like that. I'm not small, so this young lady, I don't remember your name or anything like that, but I'm very sorry. She was sort of sat here, and I moved and went like that, and then she was over. She was gone. Like that, and I was trying to fight this orc doctor off and stuff like that, and I had 3 people grab me and they were just pinning me to the floor. I had someone sat on both of my arms so I couldn't move, and even though I was completely restrained, it was awesome. It was so good. Those hospital people, they really do make your game. If you get traumatic wounds, you're really, really good. So the ref who came running up to me to do that, Anna, thank you so much. That was absolutely fantastic. She did really well. Then you get after that you go, you've got like bandages on your head or fake blood and all of this sort of stuff. You look really, really good. Then you go walking off back to your camp, and you get people looking at you going, oh, is he all right? And you go, yeah, I'm fine. And you go walking off, all the angsty role play you could ever need. Then you go wandering off back through, and you sit down, and everyone's like, you all right? What happened? And then you spend the next hour and a half telling war stories. You all sit there, you all say, oh, I did this, I saw this, I wanted to do this, and stuff like that. And it's fantastic. For me, on the Saturday after I've either monstered or I've fought, because you have to do both. So if you want to fight in the main battle, you have to monster a main battle as well, because that's what's fair. And you have to do it, and it's a real dick move if you don't. So you go off and you come back on the Saturday and you get yourself sorted out, and I sit there, you're talking about either what you've been doing cherry picking, or whatever your patrol is for saying you're monstering, or you've had your fight on the Saturday. And that is, for me, that is when I start to get involved in my little bit of military game plot, and then that's pretty much when the drinking starts. So me and Chris, we purposely, we do bits and bobs, and then it seems to be, we get to a point where we'll just meet and we'll escape off away from everything, and we will trawl the entire empire. We will wander around every single nation as much as we can. We'll get drugs, we'll go visit all the bars. So something about the in-character alcohol. A lot of people homebrew. You get some of it is fantastic. There's a couple of I can never remember their name. There's a couple of lads from the league who do their elderflower stuff. See, I've promoted you now. I want a free bottle. They have done theirs is, it's really, really nice. You get the Varushkan honey rum. Is it honey rum? That's incredible as well. It's so good. Then you get the greatest cider in the entirety of the field. You get the 2 feet cider, which Mark Humes can't handle, but Nina can. Funny that. We will drink a lot of that because it's really, really good stuff. Then you get the there's Sea Wolves as well, which are a new group in the league. Their drink is fantastic. Not as good as the 2 feet stuff, you understand, but it is still really, really good. But the point of all of this is drink responsibly. I know I'm sounding like an old man at the moment, and I am an old man, but I've had too many incidents where I've had to pick people out of ditches. I've had to pick people up because they've been lying on their back choking on their own vomit. I know people who have stayed with them the entire night because they were so drunk they didn't know if they were going to survive. So they've essentially given up their entire night to make sure people are okay. So there are ways of drink. People do drink to excess at these things, but it's just try to be a bit more sensible with it all. I can drink a lot because I know I can drink a lot. Trot can drink a lot because he knows he can drink a lot. Same with Helen, same with Rhiannon, and that. Know your limits, because you do know your limits. People don't want to be taken out of their game because you don't know your limits. So that's that warning over anyway. Buy the 2 feet cider, it's amazing. Justin, I want free cider. So you've done all of that, you've got you've been going and running around the field. You've had a couple of drinks. You're talking to people. Then you get the singing. You get the parties. You get the fires and stuff like that. Wintermark, Navarre, they're huge on hospitality. Marches as well. They're absolutely massive on hospitality. You'll go walking up to this fire, and you just go, "Hi, can we join you?" And they'll go, yeah, come sit down, do you want a drink? And things like that. And it's fantastic to see. I love it when people come to my fire and do that, because you get to meet these new people. Thankfully, my character is a dick enough so that if people turn up and you just don't like them, I do tell them to leave. And I have told people to leave. And I will always tell people to leave if they're being a prick. In character. Out of character, I'll find them, go, "You're right, that was good fun, I enjoyed that, great game," and stuff. So just go up to people, meet them in the evenings. You'll go to the Navarre Song and Story Time. It is incredible to see. There are so many songs that have been written for this game. It's fantastic to see. You'll get... So Justin writes a lot. That you get Gabs in the Navarre. Gabrielle, she is an incredible songwriter. You've got Mr. Ruddick in Wintermark. He's fantastic. Some of the catchiest songs I've ever heard. The whole thing is brilliant, and so much effort and time have been put into these things that it's difficult to not sit back and just go, "This is amazing. How can people do all of this sort of stuff?" And it's so good. It is so very, very good. Justin, who is a friend of mine, he's in the Navarre. He gives so much for Song and Story Time on one evening that the following day he can't talk. He really puts himself through it. Andy Ruddick, he does exactly the same thing as well. I want to say that I do the same thing, but for me it's shouting in the battlefield. You can't see me. I'm 5'10", 5'11", and that, so you won't ever really see me over everybody. Like, put me next to Alex, who's... I'd probably just come up to his nipples. I mean, yes, that's probably his favourite thing, but he is tall, his armour is incredible, and the plot he is involved in at the moment is going to be very, very interesting. But it's all... It's so difficult to describe. The best thing I can do is just turn up, come along, and enjoy it. You're struggling with anything, grab someone. Go, "I'm struggling to do this," or "I want to do this," and then they'll go, "Oh yeah, go over there, talk to that person, get involved with that person, do that." That's what I do. Marcher boys all the way. I do like the marchers. I like potatoes. I like the party potato. So there's a story behind all the party potato, and it is a and basically I wrote some fan fiction, little short stories and that about... It's essentially about the adventures of Mac and Grim, and a few things that they've done, and the party potato came from something from that, and Grim got the potato hallowed, which means it has a roleplay effect on it, and it's great. It really is so good, because you're holding it and you're like, "Oh, I'm enjoying myself, I'm having fun," and things like that. And so that's where that all came from. The best thing, I'm trying not to give a lot away in character here. So it's all find out in play. But yeah, find Grim and ask him about the part. No, how can you do this? No one knows about the party potato. If you see him holding a potato, ask him about the potato. It's about that big. It actually is a LARP safe potato. So Yeah, marches. I like the marches a lot. I've got a lot of time for them. Broderick. Um, I have a few challenges with him. He bet me to dry hump the land shark last event, and I did for a crown. Not enough. So, and their bar is one of my favourites in the field. So, yeah. So, does anybody watching have any questions, or are they happy with me just talking bollocks, essentially? Because I'm quite good at it. Because I think I've had 2 or 3 questions this whole thing, and I've been talking straight for 55 minutes here on my own. I feel like I'm going insane. I was already there. So there's a lot of things that you can do like that, and I have barely touched the surface on this at all. So I'll probably do another one of these, because it seems to have gone quite well. What was the worst traumatic wound you've ever received? Wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It was for a friend of mine, Pip. He got shot by an arrow in the pods, and I think I had something wrong with my head in traumatic wound. So I was next to him. We were both having surgery at the same time. And they fixed me and stuff like that, and he was screaming, and his pitch was getting higher and higher and higher, until you hear the doctor turn around and say, "We're going to have to remove his testicles." Oh my god, I was done. I know, I apologise to the hospital now. I had just had a traumatic surgery, and I had a bandage on my head. I had fake blood covering half of my face, and his scream, he put Mickey Mouse to shame. He talked as high as that for the rest of the event. This was when PD did 4-day events as well. That was so funny. So yeah, he was known as Womble for the rest of the event. So thank you, Pip. That was really good. My favourite LARP I ever attended. Love Empire to pieces. It gets my frustrations out. I get to shout. I get to fight with people. I get to see some of my favourite people and drink with them and just act like a child. It's so good. You forget the world exists. There's one down in Southampton and Exeter as well, Forest Argent, run by a man called Gideon. That is a man who puts 500% into his stories. I have never experienced stories like his before. They are so good. They are so good that you come out of one of his LARPs. They're only like an afternoon, but you come out of it going, wow, that was really, really good. So yeah, have a look for Forest Argent on Facebook, because he is such a talented storyteller. But then the social side of it, I would say you've got Vampire the Masquerade, which I play down Southampton, Portsmouth and that lot, and you get weekend ones. So the weekender going off pretending to be a vampire for a few days. Yeah, it's nice. I don't think I have a specific favourite. I've probably got a favourite event that I've ever done, which was the first one where I actually met Chris, Alex, and met everybody, really, because that event saved Empire for me. I wasn't enjoying it at all, and it was walking back through a battle and everyone was there and I wanted to get off on my own because it wasn't a good battle for me. And I had Susan Cook come and grab me, and she was like, "Oh, what happened? I just called her rude." And she was like, I said, "You haven't offered me a drink or anything like that?" Imagine that in an Irish accent, because that's what I do with Mac. And she took me off and she got me a drink. She sat me down and I was telling her about the battle. And then John Aggs came out as well, Jag came out, and then we were all just chatting. And then Grim came out and was asking questions, and we were just chatting. And then Ulf came out and we were just chatting, and then I got invited out on a pub crawl. And then that was it. My entire game changed after that. So thank you, everyone. If you were to lose Mac, what do you think you'd play next? Don't know. I honestly don't know on that one. I think I'd probably be a winter marker again. I'd see if I'd have a chat with the hall and see if they'd have me back in the hall again. Probably not. I'm a prick. But I don't know. I would want to try something a little bit new. I tried the Magic game already and I hated it, but I might try it again. I might even play a Marcher. I don't know. There's so much. The game is too big. It's too big. There's so much to try. Considering Mac, Dawn, fuck right off. No, there's no way in hell I will ever go to Dawn. No way in hell I'd go to Dawn. I can't stand them, I'm afraid. The Dawn Brief is great, and I know a lot of people who play in Dawn, but there's nothing there that appeals to me. So yeah, Marches probably be a little yokel. That could be fun. But I think, in all honesty, I think losing Mac would be hard to take for a little while, because I've played him for 5 years, and when you've played something for that long, yeah, it kind of hits you. It does kind of hit you. Definitely the right answer. I did have a really nice moment in Dawn with a lady who was possessed by something, became a man, and role playing with her playing him. That was really interesting, seeing what people think, how men react. So like the man spreading was happening and they were sat in front of me pretending to scratch their balls. That was hilarious. I couldn't get my head around that one, but it was really, really good. So, but I have been talking for over an hour now, so I think I am going to call it here. So thanks for everyone for watching. I will do this again at some point. As I said, I might even do this when I'm on the come down from the next event. So I'll sit here, get drunk, and just chat about the game, just to see what people think, and just to keep the froth going while it's all there. I've given some people some keen for this. Maybe next time I'll get some people on Discord so we can get more people chatting, because you're all going to be sick to death of my voice, so we can do that. Love you, man. So yeah, so we'll do that. So thanks everyone for watching, for everyone who followed and everything. So yeah, and thanks for her. She's just said hello because I'm just ending it. Excellent stuff. So we'll do this all again. So I'll probably post it into the Empire group so we get more people watching, chatting, getting involved, and things like that. Okay, so everyone have a good night and take care and bye bye.